what we do as marketers and what we are taught, there's a big delta. हमें bullshit पढ़ाते हैं. Does that give you the license to say कि I guarantee this campaign will work? अगर आपको लग रहा है networking के लिए MBA करनी है, it's a bloody expensive way to do networking. One of the poorest and one of the most primitive forms of marketing is still being done at a lot of these FMCGs. How many detergent or moisturizer ads do you remember from the last 5 years? Zero. But how many food delivery ads or you remember from the last week? You'll tell me 3.
Who's the ideal marketer of 2025? Hey Arinder, how are you?
I'm doing good. Finally we get to meet and do this. Very excited.
Absolutely. I think we've been having conversations for a long time now, right?
Quite good. I'm very excited to have this.
So tell the audience a little bit more about you. Like, thoda sa aur zyada.
Okay, so a couple of things, yeah. So what I've studied nothing other than marketing in my life. Very early in my life, I dawned upon me कि if I'll do anything else, मैं हर चीज़ में fail हो जाऊँगा. Thank God for that wisdom. So since 18, I've only been studying marketing or doing marketing some way or the other. My last role till April last year was I was doing marketing for a tiny space within Amazon, that ecosystem. I spent a few years with them. Before that, I was with Reliance, where I was looking at a bunch of luxury brands. Started with Diesel. Was heading their marketing all throughout, worked on a brand called White Crow. Last role was to do marketing at Agio Lux, which is now the premier retailer in luxury. But all throughout felt that there were a lot of marketing problems that marketers have in terms of getting the right knowledge, training, finding the right opportunities, finding the right people to sometimes just rant with. So that's what. So I always used to think, यार किसी को कुछ करना चाहिए यार इसके बारे में. I thought, यार okay, let's take a shot. So that's what I'm doing currently.
So you are the founder of 10xer Club, right? So what is 10xer all about?
Sure. I won't bore you with the elevator pitch, but basically, see, I think some things are very, and I'm sure as a marketer you felt the same thing, right? What we do as marketers and what we are taught, there's a big delta. हमें bullshit पढ़ाते हैं यार B schools में. मतलब let's be very honest, right? Like we've been through a similar B school experience. So I went on the other side. I mutated to the dark side, and I just thought, यार PhD करते हैं life में, just trying to understand कि academia में कैसे चलता है. Maybe there's something interesting that can happen. Yeah, these are two worlds which will never meet. Let's be very honest. Marketers have to learn through other marketers, yaar. I know it's unfortunate, but there are very few professors who actually get it.
Yeah.
And you'll appreciate this, that whatever you're doing in your career, very little of it you've actually drawn from the classroom. And a lot of it you've drawn from a boss or from a senior colleague or from an agency or somebody else, right? And if your learning is a function of कि आप किससे सीख रहे हो, you better learn from the best, no? Rather than learning from the best professor, you would want to learn from the best CMO. So that was one problem statement. Second is from a hiring perspective. Whenever marketers wanted to get hired, they have to talk to some irritating HR recruiter consultant, somebody who doesn't get it, somebody जिसको पूरी कहानी सुनाओ वो फिर भी पूछते हैं चलो ये सब ठीक है, digital marketing आता है आपको. So all of those frustrating experiences they just brought me to this one place and said, यार marketers need their own solution from hiring perspective, because companies are not able to find good marketers are not able to find good companies.
I think that's such a huge problem today. Companies are not able to find like good marketers.
और सब है,
सब available है, but you're just not connected to the right people, or you are either kind of dwindling in like the wrong field. आपको करना social media चाहिए, आप कर digital marketing रहे हो, है ना? मतलब कुछ ऐसे एकदम mix match हुआ पड़ा है पूरा. And like you said, it's about कि boss की गाली खा के आप सीख सकते हो.
Absolutely.
Marketing is all about that, I think. So you might know the principle कि ठीक है आपको 15% spend करना है marketing पे, but वो 15%, where will that 15% go? What is it leading to? What is the output? That only you can learn while you actually practically implement that budget that is given to you. So yeah, absolutely.
Where did that 15% thing come from? That also somebody told us, right? वो किसी B school में तो नहीं पढ़ा है ना. So I'm just saying all of this marketing knowledge that is created by other marketers. So might as well surround yourself with the best marketers so that you can surround yourself with the best knowledge. Zepto क्या कर रहा है? Zomato क्या कर रहा है? What is happening in B2B pharma, for example, that might give you a very good insight. So you need to be surrounded with amazing top quality marketers. Absolutely. That's what we want to do, right? And see, on hiring also we started making a little bit of progress. On learning now we've gone through a few hundred people, so people know that a lot of these things are making a difference.
Yeah.
Where people are going back to work and they're feeling slightly more confident.
Yeah.
They're feeling कि ठीक है, my boss ने comment किया कि अरे थोड़ा confidence लग रहा है आपकी आवाज में. So those are good validating things, right? So that's what we're doing, just putting the right people together and making
Yeah.
sure they have fun. Yeah.
No, I think that really makes sense, and I think that is what is required today. Like, I see a lot of people valuing skills now more than they value the degree.
Absolutely.
Right?
Thank God.
Yeah, and we see so many freelancers, so many graphic designers, so many marketers, agencies coming up now. You know, you see that all of this is like coming up so much now as compared to previous times, and it's only because people have their own portfolios. You know, you can actually see their work and hire them based on what skills they have, rather than seeing अच्छा इस बंदे का MBA है या इस बंदे ने यहाँ पे ये काम किया है. Instead of that, you actually have a portfolio जिसको आप देखकर उनको काम दे सकते हो. I think skills are being valued a lot more today as compared to degree.
Which it needs to be, no? I think I find it very frustrating when I feel when a lot of recruiters push कि marketers यार MBA होना जरूरी है. And some great marketers don't have MBAs, and thank God they don't have MBAs, right? The issue is that in hiring, we are trying to avoid statistical error. कि कहीं से खराब hire ना जाए, which is just making the entire thing just very wonky. Just answer this question to me. What we do as marketers, एक 11th class का बच्चा भी कर सकता है. Let's be very, it's common sense यार. It's just common sense. कर भी रहा है, right? So if somebody, या तो अगर कोई ऐसा skill हो, if it's like physics or like brain surgery or something, right? कि you need a certain amount of instruction to be good at it. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. या तो उसके बाद अगर आप बहुत incrementally competent हो जाओ, कि if you've done an MBA, does that give you the license to say कि I guarantee this campaign will work? आप वो भी नहीं कर सकते.
Absolutely.
So somebody who's a 16-year-old would be able to do as good a job, if not better. The learning curve is a few months.
Yeah.
We overcomplicate everything about marketing के यार ये तो बहुत कोई बड़ा specialized skill नहीं है यार.
Yeah.
We just apply common sense. We just apply all of that, and thank God the skills are taking precedence over the degree, because that is what is important. I feel great marketers have to spend a couple of years to unlearn what they've learned in B schools. कि पहले आपको detox करो ना, कि आपको क्या क्या सिखाया गया है. Then after the 24-month period, then you start becoming a slightly better marketer. That's been my experience.
Yeah.
Because वो दुनिया अलग है. मतलब it's great, like B schools teach you, like, and I had great fun at the B school which I went to, and I have great respect for a lot of professors who I continue to work with.
We've been to the same B school.
Yeah, so you know, right? Fun place to do a lot of other things other than marketing. But I'll say B schools teach you a lot of amazing things, right?
Yeah.
They teach you the power of working with other people. And most often when you don't like those other people, or they don't have the same level of motivation and drive as you, right? Which is a very good replication of what would happen when you start working.
Yeah.
B schools are a great place to have fun, great place to understand deadlines, pressure, great place to get your competitive zeal out. So I think from that perspective, B schools are a great place. But for functional learning, I'm sure people learn a lot of finance, but I don't know कितने लोग marketing सीख रहे हैं यार, कितने लोग HR सीख रहे हैं, मतलब, and how much of what they've learned there they're applying. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a big question mark.
Okay, so here we have 2 points that we discussed, right?
Sure.
That today skills are taking precedence over degrees, but we also realize that MBA gives us a lot of skills in terms of networking, how to deal with people, how to work under pressure, and you know, and so on and so forth. And a lot of people today reach out to me to ask, Akriti, should we do an MBA to, you know, kind of progress in our marketing careers? Or should we do an MBA to, you know, kind of have brand management roles? I think this is one of the questions that I get so asked, like so oftenly asked, that should I do an MBA to get into a brand management role? Okay. So what do you think these guys should do, right? Because yes, obviously today every FMCG company hires an MBA for their brand manager role, right? But there are a lot of startups who don't, right? But then it's about a choice that you have to make, whether to go in a startup or go in an FMCG. What if someone doesn't want to do that? How can they, you know, kind of progress in their marketing careers towards a brand management role?
We'll split it into two, right? Like the first thing is MBA required to get into a leading marketing role, and second is the FMCG part of it, which I have a very strong opinion on. Yeah, I think MBA is a very expensive vacation. To be very honest, right? It's a extremely expensive vacation. अगर आपको लग रहा है networking के लिए MBA करनी है, it's a bloody expensive way to do networking, यार.
Yeah.
I went to a leadership summit at a big, amazing B school, one of the top 3 B schools out there. Their exec MBA is 50 lakhs.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, no placements.
Yeah, and you have to find placements yourself.
You have to find placements yourself. And I was like, and I spoke to some people, and they were, they had 10 plus years of experience each. It's a very expensive place to network. Just get a club subscription of Quorum Club or Gymkhanas and everything else. Or if you can get into these YPOs and EOs and bunch of these, Bangalore has a big ecosystem where you can get in through the mixer scene. You will probably have more people who can actually open doors for you versus having B school mates that you've probably had drinks or smoked certain things with. But that's also fun.
Or you start playing golf.
Or you start playing actually pickleball. So that's at least in most cities what I'm seeing is that pickleball has become the new golf. So from a networking perspective, bekar ROI. From a learning perspective, somebody asked me, hey, there's this course that I want to go for. It's in UK and blah, 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 everything about it. I just said, okay, do it. I gave him a list of 20 books on marketing. And I said, spend 2025 reading these books. If you read these books, you will be ahead of 99.9% of marketers. If you read them twice, you will be ahead of pretty much all of them. That's it. From a learning perspective, और वो 20 किताब maybe 5,000 की or less आएंगी, right? From a knowledge acquisition perspective, again, horrible ROI, right? So networking doesn't work. Knowledge perspective doesn't work. Where it does work is that, unfortunately, some of the legacy hiring ecosystems in the country still think that an MBA is going to make them avoid a certain kind of hiring error.
Yeah, that is true.
And a certain assumption that only people who have gone through that Brahmanical system of B school education, के उन्हीं से ही marketers निकल रहे हैं, नहीं तो बाकी तो निकल ही नहीं रहे.
Yeah.
So I am very against that school of thought. Yeah, I feel, yeah, if you have like a 20-30 lakhs to spare, so it's a great vacation. सबको करनी चाहिए. But if you don't, there's way better things with your life that you can do. Take those 20 lakhs, do 2 different experiments as a business owner, right?
Yeah.
Start a personal care D2C brand and take another 20 lakhs and start an agency doing anything, right? So you have 2 different businesses, do that for 2 years. You will learn 20 times more than any MBA, right? Do that. Or maybe one of them would actually blow up and you won't even need to do whatever you originally wanted to do. Which is a segue into the second part of your question. What is this obsession कि मेरे को brand management FMCG में करना है? Yeah, I'm going out there and saying one of the poorest and one of the most primitive forms of marketing is still being done at a lot of these FMCGs. And why do they still remain the most, and they are not the most prestigious places for marketers to go. The cutting edge of work is being done in consumer tech, period.
Yeah.
Every kid today wants to go to a Swiggy, Zomato or a Cred, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's where they're literally at the cutting edge. The old classical marketers don't want this status quo to be upset. तो बोलते हैं अरे ये short term है, इससे brand नहीं बनता. Swiggy बन गया brand, boss, list हो गया. It's a, maybe your detergent is not as big a brand, the one you've been building for 40 years.
Yeah.
So I believe that any person who is starting out their career, rather than this entire obsession that, hey, I want to get into FMCG and I want to build brands, which I want to build soap and detergent brands, doesn't work, man. Just get into, I say the same thing to every person who asks me this question, like who makes the mistake of asking me this question. I say, get into a very small marketing ecosystem. 5 लोगों की marketing team, 10 लोगों की marketing team. Solve for breadth in the first 2 years of your career. Figure out कि social media post भी आप बना रहे हो, media plan भी आप check कर रहे हो, performance का ROI भी आप check कर रहे हो. मतलब you're doing pretty much everything.
Absolutely.
Just for the sake of understanding what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And this entire obsession कि यार I want to work for a XYZ FMCG company, yeah, I think that phase has gone. I think it's 1 decade old, that entire mental model. And I have colleagues, I have people from my B school batch, right, who went to, which was considered an elite FMCG placement at that point in time. And I remember her telling me that, hey, I've been in this brand, but मेरे को digital का D नहीं आता because it's a I don't want to give out which brand it is because it's a great brand, but you'll know who it is. But it was one of those legacy brands. Like if
Yeah.
you're, for example, if you're doing Wheel or Rin, तो डिजिटल मार्केटिंग का क्या ही रोल है यार आपकी लाइफ में, एंड दैट्स वेयर मार्केटिंग इज हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स. एंड इफ यू डन 10 years of that in an ecosystem, and you've basically been 10 years behind the other brands in the market on digital content, social performance, media, app marketing, all of those other parts of marketing which are in. She's like, yaar, ab meko nahi aata. I think I have not had the opportunity to do it. And now she's going through the 10x experience with us, which means कि यार, I want to meet other marketers to see वो क्या कर रहे हैं.
Absolutely.
So,
I think today you can classify marketing in two parts. One is a traditional form of structure that you follow in your journey, where you work with a big brand for 8 years, you become senior brand manager, then you work for another 8 years to become like VP or something like that. It takes you like 16 years to kind of go through that journey, and in that journey you're handling like small parts in the teams, and you're learning through the way. So I remember at one of the companies that I worked in, someone came as a brand manager from one of the biggest companies in India, and they didn't know anything despite like 8 years of experience. Like, that person did not know how influencer marketing worked, right? And that was something that their juniors used to teach that person, right? And that was something very surprising, because you've hired that person because you want that person to create an impact. You've hired that person because you have a thought process that, maybe this person who belongs to XYZ big B school and has worked in XYZ big company is going to come and do something amazing here, right? But then there is this one form of marketing that is evolving, which is people learning and then implementing what they've learned, the skill thing that we were talking about, and they're actually proving through results. Because I say this in every conversation that I am in today, as a marketer, not a content creator or a marketer or like a digital marketer, you're a growth marketer. Your idea should be, how do I enable the business? How do I enable the business to grow through my efforts?
Absolutely.
So I think we see these two forms today. Yeah.
I think for young marketers, and I keep saying, I sometimes want to shake people up and say कि यार बॉस, ये FMCG वाला जो obsession है ना, ये छोड़ दो, right? 10 साल पहले ये चल रहा था, right? Those ecosystems are very inward looking, and that's why even if you look at a lot of folks, and I have the opportunity to meet a lot of CMOs, they'll be 2 decades in, right? And then suddenly they'll feel after the first few rounds of consulting gigs कि यार अभी और consulting gigs क्यों नहीं आ रहे? Because was the kind of marketing that you were doing within a certain ecosystem was the right answer. But outside that ecosystem, the world has moved ahead. And that is reflecting in the fact that now your consulting services are not as priced as what you projected them to be. It's an unfortunate reality. Within that microcosm of those 6 to 10 companies who feel that this is the Kotlerian or the Byron Sharp school of marketing, and this is how we are supposed to do it. And with a very high-handed way, these are the fundamentals. Nahi hai bhai fundamentals. These are fundamentals for you. But the fundamentals for somebody doing pharma marketing or BFSI marketing, wo marketing nahi hai kya? That's as much marketing, if not more. They're making as much money, if not more.
Absolutely.
So modern marketing, I think, is accepting the realities of the need to break away from these Kotlerian, which were, I feel, wrongly considered to be कि यही marketing है, यही सत्य है. These, I think, I fundamentally believe that marketing has no fundamentals and no laws. And you're supposed to do good marketing, you're supposed to break a law. Unless and until it's physics or actual law, legal, right? Every other place thrives on just breaking those rules.
Absolutely.
And that's what, अगर आप वही कर रहे हो तो सब वही कर रहे हैं. That's why every biscuit is the same. Okay, how many detergent or moisturizer ads do you remember from the last 5 years? 0. But how many food delivery ads or you remember from the last week? You'll tell me 3. But some classical marketers will sit and say, नहीं, उससे brand नहीं बनता. यार, जब तक आप टिप्पणी दे रहे हो तब तक बन रहा है ब्रांड. So I feel very strongly against high-handedness on marketing. I feel marketing is fundamentally changing every 3 years. There are no rules. There's nothing that you can sit on say कि यार ये अब मेरे को आ गया है.
And I think it's also factor of the consumer attention span.
Yeah.
Right? Because today everyone has this attention span of like hardly 3-4 seconds. And if you're not able to create that impact in that 3-4 second zone for that person, there are chances that they might miss what you're trying to convey to them. I was recently buying this book by Ogilvy, like that yellow book that is there, because I always wanted it in my library. Okay.
Nice.
So I went, and it was.
Sorry, I should also recommend another book for your library, but we'll talk about that later. So go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So उसमें ना नीचे नाम कुछ और था, ठीक है? So I asked this person that is this not the original book?
Yeah.
So I said this is the original book. It is the revised version of the original book. It has more digital marketing aspect to it, and the original one has all traditional marketing aspect to it. And it just hit me that today everything has evolved so much that even the books are changing, and even like such classic books are mending their own ways and breaking that rule कि नहीं ये marketing है. They're actually trying to bring that angle of freshness into the books itself. So I think it's about that. आपने तन्मय भट्ट का वो ad देखा, कुछ interview था या कुछ उन्होंने बोला था कि do the opposite to what people expect. Like you're saying कि rule, you need to break the rule, right? Do opposite. Rahul Dravid in like a cred ad shouting and stuff. That's
Yeah, well, I think, and when Cred broke onto the scene in 2018 and 19, a lot of people said कि यार ऐसे उदित नारायण से ad बनवा के तो brand नहीं बनता. बन गया ना brand.
Yeah.
Like Cred is a brand which everybody in this room uses.
Yeah.
And they use it, and it has high recall versus all other fintech brands out there, right? It is top of mind for everybody. It needs to be top of mind for. And on your point on attention span, I would like to mutate that argument a little bit. Yes, of course, there's enough research to say attention span short ho gaya hai. We also have a reading club in our community. So somebody suggested this book called Stolen Focus by Joanne Hari. So I was going through that book, and there is enough research out there to corroborate what you're saying. But I have a corollary to this, right? Which means that, I think attention spans have, of course, gone shorter, but people's ability to call out bullshit has gone higher. ये सेम लोग 4 घंटे की पॉडकास्ट भी सुन रहे हैं जब निखिल कामत कर रहा है.
Yeah.
Right, so people are watching 25-30 minute videos when Mr. Beast is doing it, and sometimes they're having challenges to even go through a 20-second reel from somebody else. So it's not that universally it has gone up. Your content and your marketing and your campaign has to perform every second. It can't perform as a 30-seconder, 45-seconder, 90-seconder. Every second it has to incrementally perform.
Absolutely.
To make sure there's enough retention. So I feel while all of those changes have happened, but for the right content, for the right marketing, for the right IPs, 3.5-4 घंटे का भी पॉडकास्ट सुन रहे हैं ना लोग, and they have crazy amount of retention. And even if you have a shorter podcast which doesn't provide enough value, it will have as much drop-offs. And the same thing goes for brands. Like making it shorter is not the answer, is what I want to say. It can remain longer. Like people are slightly more discerning about where they invest their attention, because of course there's the platitude is out there, right? Attention is the new oil. वो तो है.
Yeah.
But just classifying attention spans are shorter, hence everything needs to become shorter. Like I don't subscribe to it. I just feel you need to fight harder. पहले कहता आप 1 मिनट की फिल्म बना दो या दूरदर्शन पे डाल दो, कोई सीन नहीं है, सब देखेंगे, ताली बजाएंगे.
Correct.
You can't get away with that.
Yeah.
You can't get away with that right now. पहले you could have मिले सुर मेरा तुम्हारा, great, like you taking like 3.5 minutes to make one point, right? Which is fantastic. I don't think a film like that can be made today. A message like that can be carried today. But a film like that can't be made today.
Correct. I think it's about engaging people. And you very beautifully put it, and that's something to think about, that लोग देख ही रहे 4 घंटे का है ना, मतलब, but they're skipping a lot of things otherwise, right? What do you think someone in 2025, should look like as a marketer? Who is the ideal marketer of 2025?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I think Samir Raina. But anyways, so I think the ideal marketer, first and foremost, needs to have a level of intellectual humility. Every day come to work thinking मेरे को कुछ नहीं आता boss. The day you start thinking कि मेरे को marketing तो आती है, marketing तो I'll figure. that's the day your downfall as a marketer has started. The beginner's mind is not important in any other craft as much as it is in ours.
Yeah.
So an ideal marketer will have extreme amounts of intellectual humility. And the moment I see somebody introducing themselves as, hey, I've been working for I'm a seasoned marketer with 16 years of समझ आ गई मेरे को मतलब I know it's harsh, but if the best is behind you, then the best will remain behind you. So that level of intellectual humility, okay, every day I come in, it's a discovery. I've been doing marketing for a few years. I am so convinced कि मेरे को marketing नहीं आती. I am so convinced. Is because, and that's the joy of the craft, yaar. That's the joy of the craft. There's no right answer, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So I think that is very important. That's what I really recommend everybody to kind of very actively cultivate. Second, I think is एक तो बोलते हैं ना curiosity. तो in any profession you have to be curious. और एक curiosity का एक next level होता है कीड़ा. Right, which means people say, okay, hey, I want to learn AI and marketing. What do I do? What courses should I take? Like 0 courses. You should go and you should list out the 30 tools which are out there. You should do 1 a day and you should spend 15 minutes and try all of them out.
Yeah.
So when somebody sees news around a new LLM or DeepSeek or something comes out, और इमीडिएटली अगले 10 मिनट में आपके अंदर कीड़ा नहीं है कि यार मैं जाके कुछ बनाता हूँ उसके ऊपर देखता हूँ कि क्या ना हाउ डज दिस वर्क और लेट मी जस्ट ट्राई व्हाट्स दिस टूल एंड एवरी डे देयर टन्स ऑफ टूल्स कमिंग आउट इफ यू डोंट हैव दैट देन समबडी हु हैज दैट विल लीव यू बिहाइंड
करेक्ट
ये सब कोर्स करने से नहीं होता यार ये बुक्स पॉडकास्ट से भी नहीं होगा अनफॉर्चुनेटली लाइक आई नो लाइक आई हैव अ बुक एंड अ पॉडकास्ट एंड सो बट that's not the best place for marketers to get knowledge. It's not. It's kida, which means your ability to literally say, okay, hey, this is not what I've ever done in my life, but आधे घंटे का learning curve, I'll figure it out. I think that really sets people apart. And third, and most importantly, is a level of disrespect for legacy voices. Where you feel कि किसी ने बोल दिया तो it doesn't become the truth यार.
Yeah.
Goes back to what I said first कि यार there are no platitudes in marketing. Learn everything. Learn to break everything. Have a certain amount of suspicion and disrespect for like even for people in black sweatshirts and ponytails telling you about stuff. So be suspicious of everybody in marketing यार. अपना एक signature, अपना एक opinion. Marketing allows you to do that. Chemistry does not allow you to do that. ना? अब ये तो नहीं बोल सकते कि chemistry में I don't even know. I can't even draw an example. Thank God for that. कि ये ऐसे नहीं ऐसे होता है, right? Because they are certain platitudes. Marketing में you can have a dramatically different opinion and it can be absolutely right. So be very suspicious of what your CMO tells you. Be very suspicious of what your professor tells you. Be very suspicious of everything you read in a book. किसी ने किताब लिख दी मतलब ये नहीं है कि वो last word हो गया. कि ये तो it's a well read book, hence this is the truth. There is no truth. Disrespect the status quo at all points in time.
Right. I think that's very interesting, and that is something you've written in your book as well.
Yeah, segue.
So tell us a little bit more about the book.
Yeah, so the book, and I think it's quite a surprise how it's been doing. I genuinely had no expectation.
Yeah, it's number 1 on Amazon right now.
मेरे को बिल्कुल कुछ idea ही नहीं था. It was just like I'll write something and have it off my desk. But it seems to be doing significantly better than what I expected it to be. So very thankful about that. But see, the book is just again demystifying के यार जो हम कर रहे हैं ना मार्केटिंग में कुछ रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है. It's just humans interacting with humans.
Each other.
And when humans interact with humans, the same things happen. के there's authority, social proof. हाँ मतलब उसके नाम अलग हैं, but viscerally we know everything. Right? कि when you go into Starbucks and if you feel यार कि there were 3 sizes, but I always end up getting this size because this is too small, this is too expensive. Or why does Bata keep doing 99 pricing? Does it still work? या अगर नायका में लिखा है 1 item left, So we get tricked every day, every hour. इसके पीछे क्या है? And all of them have very simple things. It's just one dress left is scarcity bias. You viscerally know what it is, but now you have a name for it. So it's just about, can we put all of those tricks in a very light book, which means my objective was that somebody should put their phone in airplane mode when they get on a flight, and before they land they should be able to finish the bulk of it. That's why it's a very short, easy breezy read. जो complicated marketing book लिखते हैं ना यार, उससे तो like मेरे को भी बहुत परेशानी होती है. मतलब simple चीज़ है ना यार, simple बताओ. मतलब talk about Cred and Swiggy, an urban company. I don't want to hear about Dove in the 1970s and Tesco in the UK. नहीं पढ़ना मेरे को वो सब. Tell me about stuff I see every day. That's what the book is about. And there is absolutely no jargon in it. It's very anti-jargon, but it's about just things we see every day and what goes one step behind it. Written very simply.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. I think I'm going to read it on my way back now. So thank you so much for this conversation today. I think it was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I think we talked about a lot of things, and you put a lot of things in perspective for me as well, honestly.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Do let me know how you like the book, and I'm really thankful for you to putting out like this podcast, getting cool people. Like this one was an exception, but getting generally knowledgeable and cool people on the show. We need high quality material in marketing, यार. बहुत साल से हम बहुत bullshit सुनते आ रहे हैं. So efforts like what people like you do, I think, are worth their weight in gold. So thank you so much for doing this.
No, thank you so much.